Hi, Sandra here from Create in Spain, and today I decided to do a shortcut slot tutorial. I haven't done one for a while and I thought you might quite like one. So today's project is going to be something like this, a TriFold card. It's not going to be this design. I've already done that one, given you the file. But I wanted to show you how it's actually designed in Shortcut Slot for those that are new to it, or indeed, if you just want to know how it's designed and do it in other software, that's your choice, okay? So the first thing I want to do is to show you how to make these repeating patterns. This is the starting point. All I did was I drew some circles, and you can either use a tool, shape tool on the left here, or you can go to the library and choose shapes and then choose whatever shape it is that you want out of there. So you simply draw a few of them in a relatively random way, different sizes, and you can then take this and then you go to Object, which is up on the top. I don't think you can see that menu. And you can go to Duplicate. And if you go to Duplicate, you get your various options here. And I want columns. And in this particular case, I don't want to have a gap between them, which is too big, and it's set at 0.5 centimetre more or less. And that looks fine. So I can keep going like that. And I can click on OK. Now, if I want to have them grouped, I can check the Group Duplicate box, click on OK, and then this is grouped all as one item. So once you know how to do that, you can make another type of shape, and then you can put them together in lines if you want to. So this is just a normal rectangle, and I've made it 27 centimetres wide, and I've made it 20 high. Now 27 is important because you've got to divide this into 3, and 3 nines make 27, so it could be 24, it could be 27, it could be whatever size, as long as you can divide it by 3. And this will give you a pretty good size card, which will go in a letter size envelope, like the official letter sizes that you get. Obviously, I'm going to want to make this a little different. I don't want it just to be, an oblong card. I want it to have a little bit of pizzazz. So I want the angles here to be different. But first of all, I want to make sure that I've got my card divided into the 3 pieces that it needs, or 3 sections it needs to be divided in. So if I go to the library, up here you'll find there's a line. I always find this the easiest way of doing a line. And over here I can make the height 20, because that's the height of my card. And if I bring it over here, I need 2 of those, and I would need them to be approximately 9 centimetres apart. Now I can make it slightly over the 9, but let's go to Object and Duplicate, and I want 2 of them, and I want to put 9.25, I think, in here. I'm going to group them and do that. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these a different colour so that I can tell that they are not to be cut. So I'm going to make them blue, for example. And I'll go to my wrench here, and instead of cutting, I'm going to make those draw. Now the reason I'm choosing a draw setting is because I want to put an embossing tool into my machine. I don't want a blade offset, but I want my software to tell my machine that I need to change from a blade to another tool. And I can tell it to change to a pen, so that's what I tell it it's using. It isn't, it's going to be an embossing tool, but it thinks it's doing a drawing line. And when I've done that, I can set the parameters. When I go to cut it, I can set the parameters of how much pressure I want it to have, the speed, etc. Now, because I have the Pro version, I can also, if I select this here, I've got this set to draw. I have different settings that I've been able to program in. So we've got the draw here, but then if I go to pen, I've got other things that I've got listed. So I've got heavy emboss, pen, light, thin paper, glue pen, all these sorts of things, to which I have assigned pressures and speeds. But you only get that in the Pro version. Okay, if you're in the normal version, you go to the cutter settings and you alter it in here. All right, so we'll cancel that. So this is 9.25 wide. So I'll select that, just put it there, select it all, come up here to the right hand side, and I don't want it to page, I want it to selection, and I want to put it in the middle of, like that. So the gap here between these two is 9.25. So since if I divided it equally in 3, it would be precisely 9. There's a little tiniest smidgen of leeway here for the thickness of the card that you're folding. So this to here measures very, very slightly less than 9 centimeters. This is slightly wider, but it's in the middle, and that's what we need. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to right click and I'm going to lock it. You can also go into the layers panel. So over here, we've got my layers. You can see this one is locked. So I can lock or unlock it here as well. But a right click, I am so used to doing a right click that I generally do that. So this is locked, but this isn't. And I want angles here. So one of the easiest way to get angles is to go to the shape library and grab yourself a triangle. And if I rotate this triangle like so and make it a lot bigger, here we are, that's a big triangle. I can take it and I can rotate it to get the angle that I want. So for example, I might well do that. Okay, and then I can go to path, back minus front, and I've got a nice angle here. Now you could do it by adding nodes in, pen tool, just put in a node there. Now hopefully, if I go to the node, yeah, there we go. Come into this one here, and I could delete it, but if I do that, it's going to go from there. So I need to put another node up there. So up here, and I want it to go probably about there, I would think. So now I need to keep that node, but delete that node. Just press my delete key and I get that angle there, okay? I tend to do it just by using shapes and extracting one from the other. I just find that easier. I don't know why particularly, I just do. Force of habit, I guess. So now we've got a card shape which will fold over one way, fold over the other way, and you've got your trifold card. Pretty boring? Yeah, most definitely. So now this is where these little patterns come in that we got here. And I've got one which I've done here which I quite like, so I'm just going to copy that one and paste it into here. And I'm going to paste it again because I probably want it twice. Okay, so just move that one over there. So this one here, I want to have along this edge. So if I take the middle of this and I swing it to pretty much the middle of this diagonal line and then rotate, I should be able to get it at pretty much the same angle that is on. It's not quite, but it's not too far off. Okay, that is approximately the right angle. So I can move this over to the left a bit. I think that would probably be about right. Okay, so I'm going to select my card base and I'm going to right click and lock that as well because I want to work with this. I don't want to work with the rest of it. Now, how do you make this fit this easily? Actually, one of the easiest ways of doing it is to use the eraser. Make it a square one and make sure you keep closed paths on here. And you just swipe down like so, and we can get rid of quite a lot of the pattern that is too far out to be of use. And I can get rid of that one as well. Make sure I get rid of that little bit, get rid of that little bit. And okay, that pretty much fits where I want it to be. So I now want to take that and go to effects, and I want the shadow layer, and I want a blackout shadow. I'm going to make it black. Okay, And I'm going to make it big enough to give me a little edge there, a little sort of funny shaped edge. That's too much. That is probably about right. So I'm going to click on OK. And I'm going to move it up a little bit, like so. Yeah, that will do. So now I'm going to take these and I'm going to show everything, or unlock everything, shall we say. I'm going to unlock all. So now I can move anything around or hide anything or do what I want. And I'm going to take my shapes here and I'm going to hide them. And I'm going to take the colour out of this. This is definitely disturbing me. Put none in there. Okay, so now you can see exactly where things are. I've got a tiniest little bit there, which is outside this line, which I really don't want. So what I'm going to do is move this to the right one step. And now everything is going to be within those lines, right? So I can now hide these because I don't want to see those. I can take this and I can go to Path and Union, and I've got the shape there. Now if I go to Show All, I've got my little shapes here, but remember I actually moved things over to the right, so I'll move this over to the right one as well, and then they are in exactly the right place, so we have these set up nicely. What I need to do is the same type of thing with this side here to this angle, and there we have our design done. Now I can, if I want to, make this even fancier. Take this lot here, copy it, paste it in place, put it down like so, and then come over to this and then do a flip, so I can flip it that way and move it down. Yeah, there we go. So I've now got a pattern. If I was going to fold this up, I could use this on the front, that one on the inside, and I'd have a really fancy piece there. Now you don't have to do your trifolds like that. You can of course use this sort of pattern. You can put them in bands across the front of a card. But that's how I created the card I posted the other day. It's pretty easy to do, and if you need to go in and delete just one item, you can always ungroup it, and for example ungroup that and take that one and remove it. And I think I'll probably ungroup those and take this one here and remove that as well. So there we have it, that's how it's done. Now if you want to make this sort of card, I do suggest you make it out of a fairly thick card, and I do suggest you practice your cut settings because it really does need to be a very clean cut in order for it to work. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, take care now.